the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, Registrar, University Librarian, Provost, College of Medicine, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, Deans of other faculties, the postgraduate school and of students, Directors of institutes and centers, Heads of departments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The 418th in the series of University of Ibadan inaugural lectures will be delivered by Professor Iyayi of the Department of Animal Science on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry. And this may as well be the last inaugural lecture from the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry as presently constituted. Born on 15 September 1958 to the family of Mr. Augustine and Mrs. Grace Iyayi of Uromi, Edo State, Professor Iyayi had his primary education at St. Mary Primary School, Uyele, Ekpoma, Edo State, and his secondary school education at Ishan, now Esan Grammar School, Uromi, from 1968 till 1972. He completed his higher school certificate at the famous Edo College, Benin City, Edo State, from 1973 till 1975. Later that year, he was offered admission to the University of Ibadan, where he studied agriculture and graduated with a BSc Honours degree in agricultural biochemistry and nutrition, animal science in 1978. From 1978 to 1979, he participated in the National Youth Service Corps scheme as an assistant quality control manager with the Nigerian Tobacco Company, and later with the Ministry of Agriculture, Sokoto, in Sokoto State. Thereafter, he taught briefly at the Bishop Kelly College, Benin City, after which he returned to the University of Ibadan for his postgraduate studies in 1980. He obtained his MSc degree in agricultural biochemistry and nutrition in 1981 and enrolled for his doctoral studies in swine nutrition in 1983. He was awarded his PhD degree in October 1986. Prior to his career in this university, Professor Iyayi served as a research fellow at the Institute of Agricultural Research, Rivers State University of Science and Technology at Onne from 1988 to 1990. Between 1990 and 1993, he served as a lecturer in the Department of Physical Sciences and as head of the Biochemistry Unit, Egerton University, Joro, Kenya. Thereafter, he served as a postdoctoral fellow at the International Livestock Center for Africa, ILCA, now International Livestock Research Institute, ILRI, Nairobi, Kenya, from 1993 to 1994. He joined our Department of Animal Science with effect from 21st October 1994 as a lecturer grade 1. He rose rapidly through the ranks as he was promoted senior lecturer with effect from 1st October 1997 and professor with effect from 1st October 2002. Till date, Professor Iyayi has over 119 publications comprising journal articles, conference proceedings, and book chapters, and he has successfully supervised 18 doctoral graduates, among whom 3 are now professors, over 52 MSc students, and numerous BSc students. Within this university, Professor Iyayi has served in several capacities, including but not limited to being a departmental undergraduate coordinator from 1994 to 1997, departmental postgraduate coordinator from 1997 to 1999, 2-time chairman, faculty practical year training program, 2000 to 2002, and from 2002 to 2004. Editor-in-chief, Ibadan Journal of Agricultural Research, 2012 to 2014. Head, Department of Animal Science, from 2006 till 2010, and Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, 2014 till 2016. He also served as chairman, ad hoc committee of the Committee of Provost, Deans and Directors on Institutional Affiliation to UN, member of Senate since year 2000, and he has served on several Senate committees. He was Senate representative for the Senior Staff Housing Committee from 2012 till 2014. Member of the University Central Laboratory Administration Committee, 2010 till 2014. A member of the University Ethics Policy Committee in year 2010. Outside this university, Professor Iyayi has served, among others, as visiting scientist Research Participant Agreement at the Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, Lethbridge Research Station, Alberta, Canada, 2008-2012. Fulbright Senior African Research Scholar at Purdue University, Indiana, USA, 2011-2012. He has also served as external examiner in several universities, including University of Benin, Benin City, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, University of Ilorin, Njala University, Sierra Leone, and University of New England, Armidale, Australia. Professor Iyayi is a recipient of several merit and academic fellowship awards, and he has been reviewer to several journals, including the Nigerian Journal of Animal Production and the British Journal of Poultry Science, UK, and the Poultry Science, USA. Even though he's not a politician, he served as INEC returning officer for Igbo Federal Constituency, Oyo State, at the 2015 general election to the Federal House of Representatives. He is currently the registrar and chief executive officer of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science based in Abuja. He is happily married to Evelyn, and the marriage is blessed with a child. It's now my pleasure to call on the former Dean of Agriculture and Forestry and former HOD Animal Science, Professor Iyayi, to deliver his inaugural lecture titled, "Whatever goes on inside is revealed outside, the case of nutrient dynamics and sustainable animal productivity." Professor Iyayi.
The Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, the Registrar, Provost College of Medicine, the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, Deans of other faculties of Students' Affairs and of the Postgraduate School, Directors of Institutes and of Centers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor bestowed on me to be invited to give this inaugural lecture to this equally great audience on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry. For this, I give all the glory to the Almighty God. This is the 8th inaugural lecture from the Department of Animal Science and the last from the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, as we have been told by our Vice-Chancellor. For with effect from August 1st, 2017, the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry will split into the Faculty of Agriculture and Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources. The National Universities Commission approved this split on 13th of July 2016 during my tenure as Dean, after the application was first submitted in 2010 during the tenure of the erstwhile Dean, Professor F.K. Ewete. The successive administration of Professors Ayelari and Togun pursued the split further, and then Professor Agbeja, head of Forestry Department, and myself yet pursued it until it materialized 6 years after in 2016. Senate on July 18, 2016 set in motion the machinery for the amicable split. It is therefore a rare privilege to have the opportunity to present this last inaugural lecture of our great faculty. But Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I am by no means an undertaker, for that job is reserved for Professor B.O. Omitoyin, the current Dean of the faculty, who will bring the hammer down on the faculty in a few days' time. From creation, one issue that has always engaged the attention of man is self-sustainability in the sense of self-preservation, and the central drive of self-preservation being what will man eat to stay alive. Thus, agriculture has always been central to man's survivability, for without food, we will all go extinct. We all know the dynamism of agriculture in response to societal needs over the decades. Even in our present time, we see this dynamism in play. Because man's need for food is constantly changing, with respect to kind, type, form, and quantum, agriculture has always been in motion to answer to the new requirements. New plant and animal types have to be produced through science and innovation that will meet the needs of the changing human population. How far agriculture is able to meet food needs of man will depend greatly on our mode and speed of response to such needs. Human population in 2015 is estimated to be 9.15 billion, and most of the increase is projected to take place in the developing countries. Nigeria's population, the population of Nigeria is estimated to hit 470 million in 2050. The country will be the third most populous nation after India and China. At the same time, food production will need to increase by some 70% by that same year. This implies significant increases in the production of several key commodities. Annual meat and milk production, for example, will have to grow by over 200%. No nation can industrialize successfully without first achieving a leap in agricultural productivity to a level where the people are food secure. In the 1960s, agriculture contributed up to about 64% of the total GDP, but this has gradually declined over the years to what we have presently of 21% of agriculture in our total GDP, and with livestock contributing a mere 1.62% to the GDP. Now, this has been as a result of dependence on oil, but the fall in oil prices last year brought our economy to near comatose. We have consistently been a net food importing nation. For example, Nigeria produces 10 billion eggs annually, which translates to about 5 eggs per person per month. But we still have deficit. We produce 2.7 million metric tons of rice, but our deficit for rice is about 6 million metric tons. We produce 1 million metric tons of fish, but yet we have a deficit for fish need of about 2 million metric tons. Even the cassava that we pride ourselves in as as the world's best #1 producer, cannot give us cheaper gari because our yield is still very low. Thailand, for example, does 45 tons per hectare in cassava, but we post a mere 20 to 25 tons per hectare at best. So we are food insecure. Therefore, the urgent need to diversify our economy has gripped everyone, with emphasis now being placed on agriculture, which is the very sector we started our country with. Within the agricultural matrix, Mr. Vice Chancellor, the livestock sector has surprisingly remained almost neglected. While, for example, there are at least about 8 crop-based research institutes in the country, there is only one for livestock, and that's the National Animal Production Research Institute in Zaria. So the livestock subsector needs to be boosted in order to provide adequate protein for our people. As shown in figures 3 to 9 up overhead, the production of cattle, poultry, pigs, sheep, goat, meat, milk has been on the increase in the last decade, though this increase has not really matched the corresponding population increase. The gaps in Nigerian livestock production are many. Nigeria, with a population of 182 million people, is grossly unprovided with essential food components like protein, which is important for the realization and development of human potentials, both mentally and physically. Data indicate that less than 2 kilograms of beef is available to an average Nigerian per year, and just a mere 4 kilograms of eggs is available to a Nigerian per year. In fact, milk production has nosedived in some years, or at least has remained constant since 1994. But there are opportunities for investment as a result of these gaps. These opportunities are in the following area. 1, gross shortage in the supply of cattle products at the moment from both local production and importation. 2, there is high demand for meat and dairy products. And 3, there is need for ranches at this time. Cattle farmers in Nigeria are predominantly nomads and rural dwellers from the northern region, and about 85% of the cattle population is in the north, and 90% of the national herd